There are
inflatable boat builders in all the countries overlooking the Mediterranean Sea. In Croatia, we found a small and young company that develops this model, superRib 30 Open. It was designed by Serdan Dakovic. The deck layout is traditional with the usual sun decks, sofas, T-top, but keep in mind that there are also other versions. In fact, since it's not mass-produced, it can be customised. The style is original, very geometric, with no roundness apart from the inner tubes. It is not like traditional inflatable boats. The bow is all fiberglass, very strong. Boarding and disembarking can take place not only from the boarding platform, but also from the ones on the side bows. Up to 6 people can be seated at the bow, or by adding a top or cushion, we can obtain a sun deck for 3 people. Under the seats are very spacious and well-finished lockers. Inside the console, they set up the toilet, which is equipped with a sink, cabinet and grating. The windshield is a sporty plexiglass without profiles, articulated on several layers. It can be piloted standing, leaning or sitting by taking advantage of the convertible seat, footboard and the recess underneath. Let's see how they set up the kitchen cabinet. The construction is very solid. It's made with vacuum-infused vinyl ester resin. There's a dense network of beams and floor timbers, and the tubular saddles are also developed on the inner side, strengthening them up and managing to make a more compact structure as well. The T-top is light, it's made of carbon and is held by 4 pillars, however, resting only on 3 points. The cockpit is furnished with 3 sofas, but only the crowning one has a padded back. They've taken great care of the spaces within which we move on board, and where there might have been an edge, they've eliminated it. They also pay great attention to the details. I can grab onto anything. There's always enough space to do so. This area could have been exploited better, perhaps with a movable platform covering the engine tank. And now let's try the superRib in its 30 Open version, but with the T-top. On board we have 2 Yamaha outboard 300 horsepower each, but that's not the maximum power available. You can install up to 900 horsepower. The construction is solid, sturdy, but I was also surprised by the quality of the finishes on deck, as well as in most hidden parts of the boat. It's a hull suitable for the Mediterranean Sea, with a deep V, 23 degrees of dead rise at the stern and lots of space in front by the bow. Today in Croatia, we're testing this hull in a condition that I think is interesting, because if you look over there at those sailboats, you will notice that they are heeling very much. Well, that tells us it's windy, which means there are also waves as well. I would say it's better to get away from that thing that's chasing us from down there, meaning a storm. The shipyard pushes customization to the point where you can tell them how you want the setup to be. Whether you want a sportier, faster rib or a more touristic inflatable for family outings. They will just change the propellers, the position of the outboard and deliver the best setup for you.
Fino adesso non ho toccato il trim, proprio per rendermi conto di quanto sia facile pilotarlo.
So far, I haven't touched the trim just to understand how easy it is to steer. Can you see how it cuts through the waves, maintaining a trim that is parallel to the surface at a very low angle of attack? We're at 30 knots, consuming 60 litres per hour. These conditions are challenging. What a sprint! Some may put steps on ribs like these, but this one doesn't need them.
Mamma mia! Siamo molto veloci!
We're going very fast, 45 knots, and the trim is all down. Now I'm starting to turn it up. I feel like I'm back in my racing days, when even on rough seas you don't give up. You never give up. Full throttle, trim up. It's starting to raise the stern a little. There is nothing to do. We leave it like that. It corrects itself because it has a hull that runs on its own, and it runs at 55 knots. I might even let go of the rudder. But you don't do that. What a boat, what a hull. Let's lean it a bit on the tubular as we veer at 40 knots. And let's give it a little more gas. Even under the wave, it still holds the course. That's great. Let's see if it spins. No. I have just a little trim. Spectacular. I have to tell you that I'm really glad I came to Croatia to try this inflatable boat, the superRib 30 Open, because it is proof that even a small, young shipyard can make ribs that navigate really well.